Hi guys, welcome back to Cassie Mo Better Living. Today we're going to do a book review. The book of choice is An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. Good book. Okay, first I just want to say that I've read Tayari's other book, only one of her other books, Silver Sparrow, which I loved, and I started following her from there. So I've been highly anticipating the publication of this American Marriage. And during the course of me following her and stalking her basically on social media, listening, trying to figure out when the book is going to come out, and just trying to absorb any little tidbit that she has to give about her book, I realized that Pearl Clegg was one of her mentors. And I already loved her, so that made me love Tayari even more. And then I saw an interview that they did together. I think it was at the Alliance Theater, which I desperately wanted to read the book after that, and I think it was the release date was soon after that. So I got the book, read the book. After I read the book, I listened to the audio version of the book because I wasn't ready to give it up. So, needless to say, I would recommend this book. We can start off there, right? But it was a good book. It's about this couple, a young couple. They've only been married for about 18 months. Young, up-and-coming couple. They live in Atlanta, Celestial and Roy. Celestial is from Atlanta, and Roy is from a small town in Louisiana. So, again, it's the beginning of their marriage. He's a young executive, and she's an artist. They met in college. He went to Morehouse, and she went to Spelman. And her best friend, Andre, was Roy's roommate. So they met briefly, and that's a funny encounter. Read the book, you'll see. So they meet briefly during their college years, but they really didn't form a friendship until later. They bumped into each other in New York. He was on a business trip having dinner at a restaurant where she happened to be the waitress. She was in New York going to school as she was going to art school. So they met. She didn't remember him at first, but then he brought up the funny situation when they first met. And she, refreshed her memory, whatever. They started dating. They end up getting married. Roy ends up getting convicted of a crime that he didn't commit. And his wife knows that he didn't commit the crime. But he's convicted and sentenced to 12 years. So the story takes us, and this is, of course, where the story begins, kind of. So it takes us kind of on an emotional roller coaster with Roy and Celestial. Like I said, they've only been married for 18 months. He goes to jail. They didn't really have enough time to bond as a married couple. They still in their newlywed stage. So he goes to jail, and we see them on a roller coaster, sort of. Some of the themes from this: justice. How did the justice system treat Roy? Did he get a fair deal? Obviously not, because he didn't commit the crime, but that's another story. So, in love, how is their love strong enough to last? Can their love sustain a 12-year sentence? Is Celestial ride or die? And what's Roy, how he's gonna find himself in jail? How is he gonna cope? Is he man enough to do his time, and is he able to be there for Celestial in a way that she needs? So we see some of that going on. Andre, again, like I said, Andre is her best friend, so he's there to help Celestial try to recover during some of this time. She has her family. But she also has a life. Like I said, she was an artist. She was in art school, so she makes dolls, but fancy dolls, not just your regular dolls. Unique individual dolls where she sewed their hair on from different textured, cloth, and put cashmere blankets on, crystals all in the hair of the babies and stuff like that. So some of her dolls would go for like thousands of dollars. So she was an artist, and that was just one form of her artistry, I think. But that's how she basically had planned on making her living. So she's out trying to live her life, take care of her career. And in the meantime, she has to deal with him. So we have to see the balance of that relationship and how it turns out. And the way Tayari writes the book, it's kind of a lot of letters going back and forth, which I love that. I love the style. I wish we still wrote letters like we used to. I remember when I went to moved to Virginia. I was in high school in New York, and in the middle of my sophomore year, my mother decides to move to Virginia. So it was devastating. I used to write my best friend or my friends. I probably was writing a letter every day to my friends, just telling them everything about my day, because, you know, I didn't have any friends. I didn't have no one else to talk to, so I'll be on the school bus or at home or whatever, you know, observing everyone else's life around me and writing it, and plus my feelings about how I felt about being in Virginia. So I loved letter writing. Of course, that's a lost art, but the writer, she still does write letters. So that was interesting, but she says no one writes her back, so that kind of takes away some of the joy of it to me. You know, I want to get the letter back too and open it, you know. So anyway, I digress. But so they're writing letters back and forth, Roy and Celestial, during the course of his awayness. And so I like that style, and it's kind of, you know, you get to see emotions come out that way, but is that enough to be able to hold them together, you know? So that's part of the challenge, one of the challenges in the book. I love the way she writes her characters. They're complex characters. You learn to love them, you hate them. Celestial, I did not like her in the beginning. And Tayari, like the interview that she did with Pearl Clegg, she does say, you know, that she knows a lot of women are not going to like Celestial, but why? Why do we question some of her choices? You know, sometimes some women in the same circumstance, we may applaud them and praise them for the way, you know, the stance that they're taking, being independent, but we kind of don't like Celestial because she wants to be independent. But you have to stay tuned to part 2 if you want to hear everything I feel about Celestial.